Hey everybody, Cowboy here. We have actually a double header today. Got a couple of clips I'm going to push out on YouTube, TikTok, and elsewhere. This first one is going to be with regard to gold. We went ahead and talked about some gold charts, what we see possibly happening in the future, and also talked about what's happening behind the scenes geopolitically and on the kind of the deeper market talk on what's happening with gold, what has happened, and what may happen in the future. So strap in, enjoy. On the bottom of the screen, you can see the QR code. Go ahead and zap that with your phone if you want to be brought over to our website, or simply type in the web address you see there, www.algofactory.tech. And after the clip, we will provide you with a little bit more information on what we do and how to find us. Don't forget to smash the like button. Catch you later. There's going to be a time, though, and V, this is more your territory than mine, but there's going to be a time when this doesn't hold anymore. This price is just going to break through this kind of 2100 moment.
Yeah, now it's like, look, I mean, the West is pissed. I'm gonna save this for Thursday. I'm gonna save it for Thursday. I'm sorry. Look,
save it for Thursday.
Yeah, if you're listening to me on YouTube right now, there are stuff that we talk about, and I give like little tidbits, little breadcrumbs. I only do that in AlgoFactory.tech. I only do that in the Algo Factory Live Labs. I don't even do it on Rogue because it's deemed TD. That's too dangerous. It's too dangerous for Rogue, and I can't do it on Rogue, man.
Okay. Yeah, well, it's every Thursday we do what's called a Drip Thursdays. So in our private group, what we do here is, like I said at the beginning of the show, we start this at 8:30 AM EST, where we kind of have a free to the public, basic beginners talk. We'll talk about anything. We'll look at charts. We'll talk about what we're talking about, like with gold. Throw out some Jim Willie impersonations, things like that. And then we'll get into kind of the more privileged, if you will. And I don't mean legally privileged. I mean Algo Factory privileged information for our private groups. And on Thursday, that's when V kind of reveals things that he wouldn't even reveal anywhere else. Not on other people's shows, not on his own show, only in Algo Factory. So, there's there's some things in there that I'm like, twist my cat back, like, holy crap. Then I'm dead on the floor.
Yep.
So that's pretty amazing. But from a charting standpoint, I am going to say here that this looks suspicious to me. Suspicious! Let's see here. Let's get my arrow out. My Jim Willie suspicion. All right. Where are my arrows, man? Where's my arrows? I spent the last 15 minutes listening to Theo Vaughn. That dude is so effing funny, dude.
Theo Vaughn's a legend.
Dude, he got me in a goofy ass mood. All right, so gold right now, though, if you look at it, it's range bound. Okay, so we look at the gold chart at least a few times a month, and of course we look at the high time frame because that tells us an awful lot. Just from this, you're looking at sort of a cup and handle, but it's like a distorted cup and handle. Let's do this right here. Love this music, yeah. So this is our cup, and it actually kind of broke the cup. It's almost like the cup and handle got shifted up, so I don't even know. It might not even be valid, to be honest. But given the way that the gold market is distorted, I might look at that and say, well, that might make a little sense. It's been suppressed for so long. This is going back to 2012, this chart, just so you know. It's going way back to 2012. So, over this period of time, is it the CME that's been doing the at least is the place where the suppression happens? Is that it, V, the CME?
Yeah, the CME is where it happens, as well as the New York
London fix.
Yeah, the London fix sets the price, and then the suppression and the beat down the contracts, the futures contracts, happen at the New York Stock Exchange, the NYMEX, the New York Mercantile Exchange, and the CME as well.
The Reptile Exchange.
Yes.
But I would say, I mean, look, I'm just gonna say this, and I have no idea if what I'm saying is true, but it might be that as the last decade has wound out, so we have 2008 GFC, and of course gold. If we look back then, somebody knew something back in 2001. I'm gonna say 9/11 was the event, right? Because gold was way down to like $250 around 2000. 2001 happened, right? And I think that might have been an event. I know that our Dex would talk about 2001 as when the crash actually happened. That's how he looks at it, and he put it, and I don't want to take words out of his mouth. So he put it that gold went priceless on 9/11, 2001. Gold literally was priceless that day because, things happen and you couldn't buy gold anywhere because everybody thought, well, the U.S. was just attacked, so we're going to go to World War III. And, it might just be that that's what's going on right now with all these different conflicts and all these Middle East conflicts. And now we're, spilling into, Ukraine and all that. So, who knows? Well, history will play as it plays. But something happened and somebody knew something because gold really went up. And then, of course, we found out through, it was the BIS. It was, who's that gold dealer, Schechter? What's his name? Andy
Schechtman.
Schechtman, right?
That's right.
I don't know much about him, but I do know he's a gold dealer. And he said he noticed that, he's putting the data together that I think it was 2017 right here where price actually headed down a bit. 2017, all of a sudden, central banks started buying more gold than they'd ever bought before in an aggregate sense. Like in a year or two, they bought more gold than they had in the prior 60 years. Correct. And then a year later in 2018, and we covered this in a whole series over on the Rogue News podcast. I did like 3 or 4 Thursdays talking about the Bank for International Settlements, how that all works. But what ended up happening was in 2018, a year after all these central banks really started buying the crap out of gold, all of a sudden the BIS raised gold from a tier 3 to a tier 1 asset. And that means that it went from a 50% value on the balance sheet to 100% value on the balance sheet. And what that means is that as a tier 3 asset, having $500 million in gold on your balance sheet, or I should say having $1 million in gold on your balance sheet, well, in your bank. Okay, gosh, I need to say this properly. Okay, if they had $1 billion in gold in their possession, if you will, then on their balance sheet it was only worth 500 million, right? So it's only worth half of its actual value on the balance sheet. All right, I said that right. Now, moving it to a tier 1 asset, raise that to 100%. So all these banks, they know the value of gold. They're not stupid. So they bought a bunch of gold knowing that if they spent, let's just say $50 billion on gold, they knew it was only going to be $25 billion in their asset sheet, right? They knew that, but they knew that was going to change. And then a year later, we're assuming they knew that was going to change because they bought more gold in that year or two than they had bought for 60 years aggregate. And all of a sudden, the following year, they changed the rule to double its value. I mean, that somebody knew something. So I'm looking at the chart here saying, okay, somebody knew something way back here in 2001, especially right here after 9/11. I think people got smart. And then all of a sudden you see this move up here where the central banks went ahead and jumped on board. So somebody knows something. We also know China and Russia have been producing and buying all the gold that they can get their hands on. And actually India is a player that a lot of people don't know about because India smartly stays quiet. They're kind of gangster like that. So I'm guessing that the distortion of this cup and handle may have something to do with people jumping on board and the information coming out. And then, of course, price broke out here, and perhaps it's being suppressed where these arrows are. I'm guessing that they're trying to knock the price of gold down at wherever they could to keep it from breaking out. Because if it ever broke out of this cup and handle, then the distortion notwithstanding, I mean, we're looking at easily a quick move to like $2,500. And quite possibly even 2,800. And I'd say that if gold did break out, if the financial powers that be lost control of the ability to manipulate the gold price, I'd say anywhere from 2,800 to 3,000, and I think 2,900 looks like a sweet spot. I would not be surprised to see gold go there within like a year. So I don't know if that, I think VU and I've talked about that. Is that more or less what you're looking at for like your first kind of stop off on the way up?
Yeah, first stop off is 25 to 2,800 is the first, then it's 3,300, then it's 3,600, then it's 4,800, and then we're on to 5,300, and then we're looking at a price point of 6,200, 7,300, and 9,000.
See, let me use a fib extension tool. That should all be in there. It's my favorite song. All right, so we got Now this will have all the different extensions in there. Shit, yeah, it goes up and up. Yeah, so I think the distortion here is going to boost those numbers, and it's going to do it geometrically. So 19 to 21, that is a 20% rise. So gold right now, arguably, is maybe even 20-30% lower than it should be without the actual breakout. So we'll see how it goes, but that's a look at gold. And that's going with, the gorilla has a lot of like, I don't want to use the term inside info because there's no such thing as inside info with gold. Like gold is a commodity. There's no company, you know what I'm saying? Like, but let's say inside baseball, V's got that because you've been in metals since what, like, since you came out of the sack or what? You've been metals for 20 years.
Yeah.
So we are live every weekday, 8:30 AM EST, giving out free content. Come check us out on YouTube. Come talk to us. Go over to the website. That's www.algofactory.tech. Again, www.algofactory.tech. And for a limited time promotional offer, we are giving out memberships at $49.99 a month. There's a ton that we're offering over there. Come see what that's about. Also, you can see our Twitter link. All the links are up on YouTube. Come talk to us on social media. See us on the live YouTube videos. We hope to see you soon.